Hallo, hier ist Michael Adams für Stock-Telegraph. Ich habe eine neue Company, die ich jetzt zum CEO-Roaster Interview geladen habe. Und zwar ist das New Age Metals. An der TSX Venture ist das Symbol NAM. Die deutsche WKN ist die A2DLES, also Anton 2D wie Dora, L wie Ludwig, E wie Emil, S wie Siegfried. Das deutsche Symbol in Frankfurt ist P7J2. Und ja, ich bin auf die Company aufmerksam geworden, weil ich selber in dem Private Placement, was vor ein paar Monaten durchgeführt wurde, dort selber teilgenommen habe und habe dementsprechend natürlich auch einen Interessenkonflikt. Aber ich fand die Story so spannend, dass ich sie unbedingt ja, mit Trevor Richardson, er ist President und COO der Company, gerne mit Ihnen besprechen wollte. Dabei wünsche ich Ihnen viel Spaß. Hi Trevor, so thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Actually, it's a holiday, and it was a holiday yesterday in Canada, like Canada Day, and today is Independence Day in the United States. So thank you very much that you are taking the time to talk to me. And yeah, as I said in my introduction here, I think New Age Metals is a really interesting company that my audience needs to get to know and needs to get educated about, especially because you are dealing with PGMs, that's platinum group metals, and also lithium, branding yourself as a green energy company. And but for a start, tell us a little bit about Trevor Richardson.
Michael, thank you. I'm a geologist by background. I studied in Canada, but then from Canada, I went to South Africa to do a master's PhD. And from that point on, I've got a consulting firm down there. And I came back to Canada a couple of years ago, but it's like I was built in the finance market in the sense of I've had various public companies, and Harry Barr, who's the chairman and CEO, and I have known each other for over 20 years, and we
Okay.
joined up again. And I believe in this project, not only as a geologist, but just as everything that I've done, because I actually worked on this project when I was in university. So
Oh,
if you look at, I'm a PGM geologist by background because I worked in the Bushveld igneous complex in South Africa, where 75%, roughly 75% of all the platinum comes out of, for the world. And then this project has been undeveloped, and Harry and I joined up about over a year now.
okay. Yeah, actually, I know Harry for probably 10 years. That's when I met him first in Toronto, actually at the PDAC, and he invited me for a company presentation. And I think that was actually for the predecessor company, which was Pacific Northwest Capital, right? And you just did kind of a rollback and a name change in January?
Yeah, so the company, they're exactly the same company in essence, in the sense that we in January we were trading below 5 cents, so we had to do a rollback to raise the capital of the private placement that you mentioned earlier that you came into. So we had to do a rollback, and we did a 3-to-1, and we did a name change because there is a lot of people that think that Anglo Platinum, that has spent $30 million into this project, when they pulled out, that they pulled out for technical reasons. Now, if you look at the press release that we just did recently, one of those people that actually spent that $30 million is now one of our directors. They didn't
Right.
pull out for technical reasons. They pulled out because they got their budgets cut. Okay, so this
Okay.
is a world-class deposit.
Okay. Yeah, maybe let's dig into the presentation because you were
Okay.
already mentioning some of these steps, but you have been pretty busy already in June, right? So you did the setup for the drill program. You got a couple of new members for the board slash advisory board. So
Yep.
something seems to move forward.
We're pushing very forward. I mean, the company, like I said, is I personally feel it's very undervalued, and we're pushing forward with new advisors, people that are going to get the name back out there, and that's again with the name change, and putting people on the board that is going to push. We have a fantastic board to begin with, but just getting those people that are going to push it forward.
Yeah. And I like, by the way, I like the new name way better than the old one because at least it reflects what you're doing, right? So new age is kind of the new technology, and instead of Pacific Northwest Capital, which to me sounded a little bit boring. So, anyways, yeah, let's just if you want to move the slides, just go forward.
So New Age Metals is a Canadian focus-based exploration company, but we're more advanced than just a general exploration company in the sense of greenfields. We've spent over $30 million into the ground, and we're at PEA level. We're drilling now, to get to that PEA level to increase our resource. But I'll go into that more detail when I in the next few slides. We did undergo a name change, like we discussed. So we did a name change and a consolidation of 3 to 1, and to reinvent the company in the sense of letting the market understand how undervalued this is. Okay. We were focusing on the development of the 100% River Valley project, but we do have lithium in Manitoba. The primary PGM resource in Canada, let alone, is 2.5 million ounces. Now, I didn't check what the palladium price is this morning, but there's over $3 billion sitting there in the ground. Okay.
And sorry to interrupt, and it's quite, for me, it's quite unusual to see that these 2.5 million ounces are measured and indicated, because usually what you get from a junior is indicated and inferred, right?
Yes, correct. And that's what we're doing, is we're taking our inferred up to a measure. So, and then going into PEA. And then we have lithium in Manitoba as well. So that's where the whole New Age Metals name came out. Green energy, and
sure,
and pushing the green energy side. Okay, if you go to the next slide. Again, I mentioned my background. Harry Barr, if anyone wants to Google Harry Barr, I mean, he's a mining entrepreneur that's been around for over 30 years, and he's a superstar. I mean, there's if you just look over 300 option joint venture agreements, he's been around in the industry. Colin Bird is a director. He's based in England. He also, I haven't added, sorry, to this presentation that Ron Heber that has now joined as well.
Right.
But Ron Heber was responsible for spending the $30 million. Okay, so in Anglo Platinum, he was actually responsible. And then Kerry Galaschuk is our consultant geologist. He's responsible for lithium in the platinum side. Also myself, I'm only an hour and a half from the actual project, so I'm able to go there on a daily basis. If you go to the next slide, that's our shares as they stand right now. It's like I said, we did a 3 to 1 rollback, so we cleaned up quite nicely. Issued and outstanding is 68 and change, and fully diluted is 126.
Right.
So we're very clean, pushing forward to do the exploration that we need to do. And if you go to the next slide, this is quite interesting, and this is where it goes through the timeline. In 1999, and that's when I worked on the project, even before Anglo came in, they signed the agreement with what it was PFN, now obviously NAM. Then they made the drill hole discovery. So it was an ultramafic intrusive complex, which is the same of the Bushveld igneous complex. I'm not trying to get too geological, but they made the drill hole discovery of the PGMs in 2000. Okay. In 2008, Anglo earned in for 50%, investing $22 million in exploration. That's a huge amount, but they were looking for a vast deposit, as opposed to honing in what we're doing. We're honing into an area that we can bring into a PEA and build a mine. Okay, where they were trying to, grow a massive deposit. 2010, NAM acquires Anglo's 50%. So Harry Barr acquired the 50% interest back from Anglo. So we own 100% of the project. Okay?
What did he have to pay? Like if 22 million was spent, so what did Harry pay in 2010?
Very little.
Okay. No worries. Okay.
No, because when I say that, it's because Anglo Platinum at the time, wanted to diverse their interests, so they didn't really want to. They wanted to clean their books.
Okay.
So I don't know the exact number, Mike.
Okay.
But
No
I
worries.
can get that for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I
And
think
then
it's
2000.
really I think it's really important to understand, yeah, and as you said, yeah, a lot of investors are kind of shying away when they see a major pulling out of a project, yeah, without investigating the reasons. And there are various, like millions of reasons why a major might drop a project. And it does not mean, yeah, that the project is bad. It's just that it doesn't
Yeah.
fit into the strategy or whatever. And this is something, I don't know, but especially the German investors, yeah, they are always kind of afraid when they see a major going out of the project. But on the other side, yeah, hey, they invested 22 million in exploration, and now you still ended up with a full 100% in the project. So what can be better?
Well, you know what? That's a very valid point, Mike. Is that in layman's terms, and me personally as well, is if I saw someone pull out of a project, I would say, oh, there's something wrong, as opposed to actually looking at the technical aspects of the project.
Yep.
And that's not the case here. There's nothing wrong. It's just that their budgets were cut and they had to move. They pulled out of China, South America, Canada, everywhere. So
Okay.
it's not a technical fact. And like I said, the two people that were responsible for the spending that money, one of them is, like I said last week, we announced him as a director, and the other one actually has reinvested his own personal money back into the company. So what does that tell you? Like, they believe in the
Okay.
project. Yeah.
And actually, and that's good, and maybe you can confirm that because you just said that he put his money where his mouth was, and actually the same are you and Harry, because you
Yes.
both of you took a pretty big chunk from the last
Yes.
private placement. Is that right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're actually in the same boat as the investors.
My share certificate is still sitting on my desk, and my wife keeps spilling coffee on it.
Okay. No, I think it's important, yeah, that the management is not just spending OPM like other people's money, but that they have their own vested interest.
Yeah. No, and Harry has a much, he's not only been there through thick and thin. He's kept this company going. And Harry's not a geologist by background, but obviously a mining entrepreneur. And he's kept this thing going and bought the shares back and a lot of his own personal money, and
Yep.
kept it alive. And this is our we're reinventing ourselves and getting this going again.
Okay.
So if you look at 2012, we got mining leases, okay, and then 2000. So our majority of our area has actual mining leases, or not prospecting permits. I'll explain the area that we acquired to the south, and then 2013 we did a Met study. So what happened was Anglo Platinum did a Met survey or a study, and then we did a Met study as well in 2013, and they both aligned. So the bulk sample's already done. We may or may not do another one. And then in 2015, this is where it gets really exciting, is that we discovered a new high grade area, okay? And that's what we're focusing on right now. And the drills are moving in. If you saw the press release July 17th, and after the IP that we've just done, and delineating that area to bring that resource, that 600,000 ounces, up to 1 million. And additional drilling, I mean, that goes without saying. So if you go to slide, we are on slide 6. Again, the biggest thing, Mike, and what I want to say to investors is that this project is location, location, location. You can drive your car right in to the project. It's tar road, dirt road, little bit of dirt road, but you could drive a Ferrari into this project. Now that being said, no, what I'm saying is that take it back in the sense of how we get that ore out. We're 100 kilometers from Sudbury. Lac des Îles has to truck it 800 kilometers. We can literally concentrate on site and then truck it to Sudbury. Okay, so location is a huge advantage for us. It's an hour and a half from where I live, and it's an hour and a half from where my geologist lives.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Is Sudbury kind of a historic mining town? Because I've been to Timmins, yeah, and Timmins is all about mining. So is this comparable to Sudbury?
Oh my God, Michael, you need to go online and look. Sudbury is the biggest mining town in all of Canada.
Okay, even bigger than Timmins? Wow. Okay.
Way bigger. Way bigger.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
the Sudbury Igneous complex is like that's one of the biggest mining towns. It is the biggest mining town in all of Canada.
Okay. Cool.
You need to Google that, man.
Yeah, I learned something. Yeah, that's good, right? So usually I only go to Toronto and Vancouver, so it's good to hear something about the other cities, right? So okay, no, checked. Thanks.
So if you go to the next slide, you can again. I won't get into too much of the geology, but contact type disseminated sulfides. Very similar to Sudbury, but it's not associated with Sudbury. This is its own scenario in the sense of geologically. And the current exploration focus is for the higher grade, like I mentioned on the Pine Zone, which I'm going to get into more detail, near surface mineralization in the north part of the deposit. Okay, if you go to the next slide. This is where we're focusing on. If you look at the slide, the Pine Zone, which is again the north area, you can drive your car right into that. Okay, we got 9 priority structural PGM targets right now. Now, if you take the whole area, okay, and I'm going to explain the southern area, we have over 16 kilometers of strike. But as a junior exploration company, we're focusing on a smaller area, okay? Because if we focus on 16 kilometers of strike, again, I'm going to be burning money, you know, for forever and ever. So we're focusing on an area that we can actually build a mine open cast. And this stuff comes to surface, okay? So if you look at target T3, overlapping geological and surface IP chargeability anomaly and footwall, and then target T9, surface IP. Again, there's so many targets. And target T4 to T8 modeling, we're doing that in progress. And then plus extensive, we just finished an IP survey recently, and so we're going to have that interpretation back. But if you go to the next slide, this is where it's really exciting in the sense of if you look at the Pine Zone area, okay, so you're looking at the Pine Zone, okay, and then can you see my mouse, or you can see my mouse moving?
Yeah, I can see it. All good. Okay. Yeah.
And then you got target T3, and that's open because we haven't drilled that. Okay, so we're moving in to increase that resource.
So it could be. So it could be that those two zones, like target T3 and Pine Zone, are connected.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what you want. And that's what you want to prove out.
Yes.
Or to prove. Okay.
But that's again a small area of the 16 kilometers of strike.
We're
trying to delineate an area that we can bring it into a preliminary economic statement.
Okay.
So if you go to the next slide, there's where we're sitting, and that's why I was mentioning numbers before. Now, PGMs, we got almost close to 2.5 million ounces measured and indicated, and we have 614,000 ounces in inferred. We want to bring that inferred up to measured and indicated. That's what we're doing right now. But that total measured and indicated, now just put that in palladium equivalent. That's almost 4 million ounces of palladium equivalent. Now, if you go to the palladium price right now and the forecast, you can do the math yourself. There's plus $3 billion of metal in the ground. Outside, obviously, that's not a real number because we haven't done a PEA yet. But there's significant mineralization sitting in the ground.
Yeah, just for my audience, because I think using palladium equivalent is not that common. So if you do it,
to gold equivalent.
Right, so it's almost 3 million ounces gold equivalent. So that's a number we can work with.
I think that's a number that everyone can work with, and you know, so gold equivalent, it's like close to 3 million. Yeah, you're right. If you go to the next slide, now, again, I was focusing on the Pine Zone, which you can see where the majority of the focus of the drilling, which is an extremely small area. The area going down, which is called the River Valley Extension, okay? That number, I can tell you, we acquired that from Mustang Minerals.
Okay.
Impala Platinum spent $5 million down there. Okay, because when Anglo Platinum came into this area, it obviously created a huge land rush, or claim rush, in the sense of people trying to get in and people trying to do something. So Impala obviously they followed what Anglo was doing, and they acquired the southern portion. The company has acquired that area as well. So we have 16 kilometers of strike now. And as you can see with that arrow up to the north here, that's the small portion that we're focusing on right now. Basically all the way down to this little fault zone, okay? So it's a very small portion of the whole entire project. Okay.
Yep.
If you go to the next slide, again, if you look at like I mentioned, that we did some bulk samples, and Anglo Platinum did one, and PFN, now NAM, did one as well. The recoveries are extremely favorable. Now, when Anglo Platinum did theirs, they actually brought it back to South Africa to run it through their own plant, okay, to see, what the recoveries were. Now, that's not 43101 compliant, so we had to run our own. Now, those two, we have the results for both, and they mimic each other, everything. And if you can look at the grades, when you're getting 84% copper, 22% nickel, 69% PGMs, just on the bulk concentrate, you're getting 189 grams per ton PGMs. Okay, so it's very, very, very lucrative in a sense.
Right.
So if you go to the next page now, Mike, do you have any questions on the platinum side? Because I'm going to move into the lithium.
No, I think that was a pretty good overview. And if someone from my audience wants to dig deeper, there's a bunch of material on the website. And I trust that also the team will be available to answer your questions. So no, let's move into lithium. Yeah, and then I'm going to give you my 2 cents on all of it. But yeah, let's move into lithium first.
So what happened with the decision to make, the name New Age Metals is obviously the green energy. And that being said, obviously lithium is one of them. Kerry Galischuk, who actually there was only one lithium mine in all of Canada called Tanco, okay? And he was the exploration manager for Tanco. And him and Harry joined up, and he went out and grabbed and cherry-picked a lot of the areas around Tanco and areas that he thought were prospective for lithium. Okay. As you can see from slide 13, is you can see that we surround not only Tanco, but we also have historical resources on the lithium side. Now, if you go to slide slide 14, that's a picture of the Tanco mine, but 3 of our 5 projects in Manitoba are drill ready. And okay. So we would like to look for a partner. However, we're obviously focused on the PGMs. We're still developing these projects, and we're moving forward with them, and they are drill ready, and they sit on surface. And again, when I mentioned about PFN, or sorry, NAM, I keep going back, sorry.
No worries.
New Age Metals is that these are road accessible as well. Okay, like these are, you could drive right up to them, so they're very easy to access.
And what I figured out when I was taking a look at your website is, and that was also very special, you have a part on the website where it says joint venture projects. And then you have like a PDF which can be brought up with details about the projects. So you're really, for the lithium, you're really actively looking for joint venture partners. And if so, I know that a number of lithium juniors, they are partnering up with Chinese companies. So are you looking for kind of an end user from China? Are you looking for another mining company? Are you looking for someone funding it and you will be the operator? Or so what's kind of your thoughts about how a joint venture can work out?
Ideally, the latter, what you just said, is that we would look for a joint venture partner that we would then operate. But we're open to lots of options. We feel very strongly that our lithium projects are extremely prospective. I mean, if you look at some of the percent, 3% lithium on grabs, 4.3%, they're extremely prospective. But we don't want to lose our focus, which is the PGMs. And if you look at the forecast for palladium lately, it's looks really, really prospective in the sense that our project on River Valley is more palladium rich. So yes, we are looking for a partner on lithium, and that being said, though, we'll carry on exploring it as normal.
Okay. Talking about exploration in general, so you raised, like the last raise was increased to, I think, 2.6 million Canadian. Is that right?
We went out with 1.5 and we came out with 2.6.
Right. So it was oversubscribed, which is always good. How long will this 2.6 million carry you? Like through the whole 2017 with all your planned activities, or what's kind of the timeline?
So our goal, like I mentioned, is going to a PEA. Okay, so our PEA budget, rough budget, is roughly 5. Okay, 5 million minus the 2.6. So there's another 2.5. Now we do have a accelerator on warrants, but that being said, is that we want to carry on with the work that we're doing to get that move towards PEA. If we have to go back to market, then we'll have to go back to market. But we feel that a lot of companies, and I deal with a lot of major mining companies on the platinum side, is they won't look at it unless it's at PEA. So we got to get it to PEA. Okay, and the days back in the day when Anglo Platinum would spend $30 million on a project, those days are gone. We need to give them numbers. We actually have to give them numbers, and that's what we're moving towards.
Yeah, but I'm not worried at all because, as I said, the last private placement was oversubscribed. You have a pretty good shareholder base, with a couple of institutions backing you. So even if you need to raise more money, in this market with this background of institutions, it shouldn't be a big deal. My 2 cents.
My main goal is to try and change the persona of that, the fact that Anglo pulled out, that this project is dead, and which is not.
Yeah.
And that's why we got to move towards these numbers and then show people that these numbers are economic.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So that was the last slide, or is there another slide?
Oh, sorry.
Oh no. So that's kind of
it's just
a summary. Yeah. And maybe I will do my summary first, and then you can kind of close down here. So I feel that we have kind of a story which is for the German investors. There's not too many PGM companies around. Compare that to gold or copper. So it's kind of I would call it a niche market from the exploration side, but of course, palladium, platinum, they are not from the commodity side. They are not niche markets, right? And as Trevor said, the outlook from the analyst side for platinum and palladium being also used in this green energy cycle, same as lithium and cobalt, the price indications that I saw are pretty favorable. So if I find something, I will also link that around that video. And we have kind of a restart situation, with this new name, with a share consolidation, with the completed private placement. The company, to me, seems to be in a pretty good shape, to take advantage of this cycle in the market. They are also very, very active, just starting a new drill program. They already have something, and it's very rare, as I said, that you see measured and indicated in the reserves calculation from a junior. And And the only downside, and this is what Trevor said, and it's not really a downside, it's just something which needs to be better communicated, is the pullout of Anglo a couple of years ago. Yeah, right now it's actually in favor of the company because Anglo paid a bunch of the exploration, like 22 million. Yeah, that's the number I recall. But we need to, and that's actually your job, Trevor, yeah, to communicate this to the market so that the market understands that nothing has changed in the project. The project is a world-class project, which is the only, probably the next PGM project in Canada coming into production. And yeah, it's, to me, it's kind of a, I hate to say non-brainer, yeah, but I think the chances for success if you invest into the company at these levels at around 10 cents, yeah, at a market cap which is a little bit shy of 7-8 million. So I think there's a lot of insight. So I urge you to take a look at the company presentation, check out the website, bother the team with your questions, and yeah, Trevor, final words are yours.
Mike, your last words there as well. Like, if anyone has any questions or concerns or anything that they want to ask me, I'm available. And if I'm not available, I'll return any call that they have. And yeah, I do believe it's one of the most undervalued projects and companies out there right now. In the sense of, if again you go to palladium equivalent ounces or even gold equivalent ounces, you just go to the resource table and times that by what it's trading today, and that's what's in the ground. And we're, again, we're trading very, very below.
Okay, cool. So so thank you very much. Right now you can see the contact data. Yeah, so if you want to get in touch with the guys, just feel free to do so. And also, of course, you can contact me if you have any questions, or if you, for example, if you are a German citizen and your English is not that good, just send over the questions to me and I will translate them and send them over to Trevor and the team. Okay, for now, thank you very much for taking the time, Trevor, and good luck with the drill program.
Thank you.